So one thing to be aware of with live coding is that at the moment you can encounter some bugs when using it. So for example, suppose I wanted to add a new uProperty into my moving platform. I can go ahead and just copy the int. I'm just going to have a myInt2 in here. Now I go ahead and faithfully, according to the course, use live coding to rebuild and see my new uProperty. And once that's done, go ahead and close the window. And I might go ahead and update the moving platforms property here. I might say, well, I don't want it to be 99 here. I want it to be set to 300 instead. And then I finish up for the day and I close down my editor. However, what you may observe is that when you go ahead and relaunch the project and go to the outliner and look again for your moving platform, select it, you'll see that, oh no, that new property has disappeared. So what appears to have happened is that live coding only affected the change in the editor, but it didn't make it permanent on disk. It didn't kind of make it stay there. So what you might be tempted to do is, okay, well, I'll just hit the live coding button again. It's going to go ahead and rebuild, and it's going to reintroduce my change. But you'll notice, oops, it's reset it to the default value. So I've lost that data that I had entered in here, which is no good. So if you do find yourself in this situation where you've gone ahead and seem to have lost some data, go ahead and close the editor straight away so that we don't save any of that lost data. And then what you want to do is go over to Visual Studio Code and Control-Shift-B to bring up the build tasks and start your regular build task here. Make sure it recompiles fully outside of the editor with the editor closed. Then you can go back to your project file and open it up again. And we can go and look in the outliner for our moving platform, select it. And there you go. You can now see that the new property I'd added is not only there, but it is also there with the value that we saved it as before we closed the editor for the first time. So we've not lost any data this way. Now I find that 90% of the problems with live coding boil down to this issue. So if that's the case, then a restart of the editor and reloading can do the trick. But if you find that frustrating, or you seem to be having other issues with live coding, you can revert to the old method of doing stuff, which is called hot reloading. You go to the edit menu and go to the editor preferences. You select live coding under the general section, and you just disable live coding like so. Then you can close the preferences, and you'll need to restart the editor to make this change permanent. So once that has been restarted, you can recompile either using the usual recompile button at the bottom right. So hopefully this lecture will see you through any issues you may encounter compiling with live coding, and I'll see you in the next lecture.